Yes, it's John G. Sutton here. Tales from the Jails. You'll be pleased to know there's no singing in today's video, but I'm going to be talking about a few inmates from D-Wing in Wormwood Scrubs, where I went in 1975. And one of the first couple of times I was on D-Wing in the Scrubs, I met a guy there, a prisoner, an inmate, called Goody. Now, I know everybody's heard about Ronnie Biggs, but Ronnie Biggs was a runabout gopher driver, do this, do that, yeah, for the real train robbers. The brains behind it was a man called Goody and Bruce Reynolds. They were the team that put this together. Here is a photograph of Goody. I see pretty well as I knew him, you know. Can you see that picture of Goody there? Yeah. Yeah, Goody was on D-Wing, D2, I believe, if I remember rightly. And Jim Hussey was on there as well, one of the other train robbers that worked with him. But I only spoke to Goody a few times, and obviously being interested in the train robbery as I was. Don't forget, this is not that long since it had happened. It took place in on the 8th of August, the 8th of August 1963, when Goody, Jim Hussey and Bruce Reynolds and the team stopped the train and robbed what was the equivalent in today's money of £46 million. And then they took it off, and eventually they were captured. But I spoke to Goody a few times. He was a quiet man, didn't really want to engage, you know. But the only thing I asked him was, you know, what do you think about Ronnie Biggs being on the run, you know? And he basically said, I don't want to talk about that shit house. And that was it. He didn't want to talk about it, called Ronnie Biggs a shit house. That was the end of that, yeah. But he wasn't unfriendly, Goody. He was a gentleman, you know. Quite a bit older than me. About 10, 11 years, 12 years older than me, I would say. And but a decent guy. And Jim Hussey was on there. He wouldn't engage with staff. I think he was a proper villain. But one of their friends on there was Tony Lambriano. Goody and Tony Lambriano seemed to be friends, and it must sound like a cooking club or something, you know, a bit like Wormwood Scrubs' answer to MasterChef. Well, Tony Lambriano was an affable gentleman, and he didn't hesitate to have a chat with staff, and spoke with me on a number of occasions. And he was making like a very spicy, because he seemed to like the spicy stuff, a very spicy stew, and they were eating it. They gave me a little bit, him and Goody, and it was really tasty. You know, I only had a little spoonful, you know, but very nice. And they were very polite, kind. I mean, they could have just said, piss off, you're a screw, piss off. But they didn't. they were really quite nice. It transpired later that Jim Hussey, who had nothing, wouldn't interact. You know, Jim Hussey, on his deathbed in 2012, stated that he was the man that had hit the train driver. I think his name was Mills. Hit him with a metal bar and seriously injured him. Mills died at the age of 63 or 64, I believe. Of something unrelated to the actual assault, although his family said he never quite got over it. I've been hit with loads of things, mallets, lump hammers, you name it. I somehow seem to survive, yeah. I've got a scar here, yeah, I see that. That was an MGB. I had a crash on near Ealing, I believe it was. Anyway, had a crash, bashed my head on the side of the thing, you know. It was an old MGB, 1.8, you know, drop top. I've had one of them, yeah. Wasn't my favourite car. My favourite car was an E-Type I had, a Roadster up drop top 4.2 Series 2, and that really would go, that. I was driving that. There was very little on the road that would catch up with that. Anyway, Gordon Goody, he got out of jail late 1975, and he subsequently went to a place called Majorca. Yeah, no, it wasn't Majorca. It was something like that. But he set up a bar in Spain, and he worked out the bar for 40, 50 years, something like that, until he transpired, until he took his trip to the next dimension. And apparently everybody in the area said what a nice gentleman he was, and he used to take in the pets, you know, the stray pets, animals off the streets, you know, the dogs that got lost or whatever, and he used to look after them. So he was a well-respected man in the end, and he was respected in the time, but he certainly did not have any time whatsoever for Ronnie Viggs. Told you what he said about him. And as I say, I couldn't get a word out of Jim Hussey. He just didn't want to know, you know. He would be the old school. But Tony Lambriano, yeah, he was a very, very affable, friendly kind of guy. He was just doing his bird and going to get out. I don't quite know what happened to Tony Lambriano now. I'll have to look that up. But anyway, if you ever get the chance to interact with these serious villains, they're just like you and me, except in their past they've done something really outrageous and managed to get themselves locked up. I'll speak more about infamous villains in the future. I seriously hope you've enjoyed this little insight into the prisons, and that's the end of Tales for the Jails for today. I hope you've subscribed. Thank you very much.